used to be able to do that. Okay, Ron. Now my walking is real fast.
All right, so we're in the greenhouse here now. We're just getting started here, getting these tomatoes in. We have 1,400 cherry tomato plants to get planted in this greenhouse here today. And the reason I had to make these mounds is I didn't have my chisel plow here in time to actually rip through my hard pan in this greenhouse. So I had to bring the dirt up in these mounds because if you remember earlier, I'm running 2 months behind, so I need to get these tomatoes in the ground and going yesterday. A month ago, it would have been great. But so we had to make these mounds, and so because of that and because of my cover that's down, I can't use my regular hole puncher to punch these holes like I would in the field. So I'm digging these with a trowel, making holes. My son's coming behind, putting water in the holes, and then we're getting plants stuck in right after that. So I just made a little handy-dandy foot-long measuring tool here. Just cut out a piece of orchard tubing so I can quickly go down and get a pretty good measurement as I'm going down through, and just making a nice hole for him that he can come and pour the fertilizer solution in there and stick the plant in. We like to push that plant right down into that wet zone after it soaks in, and then we'll cover a little bit of dirt on top of that, and we'll let it go for almost a week, letting it get established before we start really pushing the fertilizer to it to get them going. So when we get to that point, we'll tell more about that. But basically, he's got field plastic here on the mounds, and I'm not even sure what the name of this stuff is. Just a heavier, thicker walking nut type material. I like to put this in the rows here just to help with dust, and later in the season when this dirt gets real dry on the rows, it just, when you walk down through it, dust gets all over your plants and tomatoes, and this kind of keeps things clean. But in this case, it prevents me from punching a hole, because then I have dirt in that plug that I don't have anywhere to go with. I could throw it over here, but once I get in the middle, that would be unhandy. Plus, I want to keep all the dirt I can in this mound to try to avoid my hard pan I have under there. So we try to get a good 10-12 inches of dirt here. My plans is to see how the plants are doing later in the season, and if I notice that they're starting to struggle, that hard pan is too much for them, the roots to get through, I probably have to pull these out and start over again. Either just replant for a second crop here in the fall, or if it's too bad, I might have to get my chisel in here and actually do it right. But in the time being, we're just trying to get these plants going, get some income. This is going to be my first income on the farm, and I got to get these things going so we can get some fruit happening here in 7-8 weeks from now, so I can start paying some bills. So we're going to get these. We got 1,400 plants going in here, and we're going to try to get it knocked out today. So here he's putting the water in, and with the fertilizer and the root stimulants and everything in there, and then he'll let that soak. Once it's soaked in, pop the plant in there, cover it up, and actually I'll go back and show you here real quick. We'll stick a plant in here just to show you what we're doing. So I just like to shove that plant down in that mud there, cover it up lightly. I don't want to pack the dirt on top. I like to push that in there, a little bit of pressure to make sure I have good contact, and then I just bring a little bit of dirt over top just so it's sealed. That helps to seal the moisture in there, and yeah, it just kind of sets them real nice, you know. And if I get a kind of a funny looking plant that's a little bit crooked or something, I can kind of straighten them up a little bit with that top dirt. But once I have them where I want, I just let them go, and we'll come back, and we're going to be running strings from these purlins. These are going to be indeterminate cherry tomato plants, and I'll be suckering these off and we'll show you that down the road. But these are going to go one stem up through. We're going to be that's why we have them so close here, is we can get a lot of production out of a close environment here by keeping them indeterminate in one stem plants. So that's the process, and we got a bunch of plants here to go, and we'll probably show you a video maybe when we're done here later. All right, we ran out of water for our planting, so I got to run down to the pond, turn my pump on so I can get my water back up here on the end that I have cut off, fill my buckets back up, make my fertilizer again so we can keep going. We got about half the house done. Not quite, maybe a third of the house done. So I ran out of water, so I gotta go get some more water. I only got 10 buckets right now. Come picking time, I'll have to get some more buckets than that. That's what I had from other years left over. I probably had 20 buckets at one time, but one at a time they get busted and broken, and that's about 10 or 11 buckets is all I got left. So I fill them up, it lasts me an hour or two, and then I gotta go do it again. So swinging down here to the pond, fire this thing up. Might take a little bit to get it primed since we didn't run since yesterday. Alright, so I got my pump fired up down there, and I'm just idling down there because I just need a little bit of water pressure. I could shoot it out. I could shoot out 20-30 feet, and all I'm trying to do is just get these buckets filled up so I can so I can mix up some fertilizer and so forth. So kind of my homemade little well here. It's kind of a homemade deal here for now, but it allows me to get some water without too much of a headache. So yeah, we're gonna fill these buckets up, mix up fertilizer, we're gonna keep planting. So that's how I'm getting water right now. At some point I gotta get a well dug, but that's gonna be later this fall or hopefully this year sometime. So that's the story right there.